Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be looking at a new event that is going to be called the Treasure Hunt, the sequel. This is a comeback event. We have had a Treasure Hunt event previously. Let's run through how this one's going to work. So looking at the intro, it says Treasure Hunt, the sequel. An all-new Treasure Hunt event is heading your way. Thanks to all your feedback during the original event, the sequel hopes to offer more chances for treasure tokens and more fulfilling emerald rewards. So without further ado, are you ready to find out how to get your hands on some rubies and emeralds? Read on. Adventure awaits in Treasure Hunt, the sequel. The event duration is as follows. It starts on the 6th of July at 12 PM Pacific time, and the end date is the 18th of July at 12 PM Pacific time. The Emerald Exchange closes on the 20th of July at 12 PM Pacific time, giving you 2 days to collect your rewards as you so wish. The event overview goes on to say, continuing the adventure from the previous episode, the goal will be to collect as many rubies and emeralds as you can. Any collected rubies, emeralds and shovels from the previous treasure hunt can be used in this event. So that means that if you have any left over that you didn't use in the last event by mistake or for whatever reason, you will still have them. It will kind of work like the Kendama challenge events do, where the Kendamas go from event to event. Rubies are available for logging in daily in the black market and a daily roadmap. Then the choice is yours. You can either use your rubies to collect tokens from the treasure wheel or hoard them and attempt to brave the emerald mine roadmap. Emeralds can be traded in the black market for S-class cards, trainers or legendary gear. So it doesn't really break down what you can get from the treasure wheel here, and realistically, if I remember rightly from the first treasure hunt event, you couldn't actually do the emerald mine roadmap without going into the office section. You could maybe do one stage, but that got you pretty much nothing. You had to go into the office section and get a lot more rubies, even if you were on Survivors Club. It does then go through a quick start guide, which we'll just quickly breeze over. It says collect rubies in the ruby and emerald mine roadmaps. You can collect 3,000 rubies from logging in daily in the treasure shop black market, 3,000 more rubies for Survivors Club members, 3,000 more rubies through the treasure map roadmap. Hopefully the energy costs of these roadmaps are not too high, just because, like we've talked about a lot in the last few weeks and months, the energy cost of some of these event roadmaps is kind of extortionate. 20,000 rubies available daily with shovels. You can buy shovel packs in the treasure hunt featured shop. You can spend 3,000 rubies in the ruby mine every 8 hours for 1,000 treasure tokens. You can spend 4,000 rubies in the treasure shop for 1,000 treasure tokens. 75,000 rubies for 4 emerald keys to open the new and improved emerald mine roadmap. Roadmap costs an additional 20,000 rubies. Hint, the third stage of the emerald mine roadmap drops more shiny emerald surprises. It does go on to say a taste of the rewards you can get. 36,000 treasure tokens from regular engagement with the event. As a Survivors Club member, that's a lot of chances to hit those bountiful booties. I think that means 36,000 extra, because people who log in daily should be getting 36,000 as well. So you should be getting 72,000 as a Survivors Club member in total. Gemtastic rewards like 1,500 trader cards, 5 GPS, or 50 epic trainers in the treasure shop. So in the treasure shop, it does look like there's going to be the trader available. And I think in the last one, the best character was perhaps the gentleman. I can't really remember the rewards from the last one. There's just been so many events. So here are going to be the main rewards with your emeralds if you do go that route. It's the trader cards, Minerva cards, gentleman cards, peak cards, strangely enough, but it is a lot of peak cards for the amount of emeralds you're going to be getting. And then there's some epic trainers, GPS and canteens. So going on to some roadmap information, the treasure roadmap apparently will cost 5 energy per stage, which is pretty nice. That means 15 energy total. That is actually pretty acceptable. Difficulty is S5 to S7, so quite accessible by a lot of people. Still be fairly difficult for brand new players, but hopefully there's some walker stages in here. Maybe they're all walkers, we don't know. It resets once per day, so you can do that every single day, and you get 1,000 rubies per stage. So that means you get 3,000 rubies for completing the entire thing. The ruby mine is a duration of the 1 act and 3 stages, exactly the same as the treasure map. It costs 1,000 rubies per stage. This is kind of what we're familiar with the previous treasure hunt event. The difficulty is a bit harder, S9 to S11, but still not too overly difficult. Resets 3 times a day. The stage completion rewards are 500 5-star recruit tokens per stage, and the act completion rewards is going to be 1,000 treasure tokens to pull on the treasure wheel. Now you should be getting 3,000 rubies for logging in. You should be getting 3,000 rubies for doing the treasure map, and you should be getting 3,000 rubies if you are part of the Survivors Club. So potentially, it looks like rather than you getting 36,000 just for logging in, you're going to be getting an extra 36,000 potentially from finishing this treasure map every day, and then you're going to be getting another 36,000 for being part of Survivors Club. So potentially you should have over 100,000 of the rubies. Also, one thing to mention for new players, completing the ruby mine twice a day, which you should be able to do if you do the treasure map and then do it the second time with your login bonus as a minimum. You will get 3,000 5-star tokens every single day. The event lasts for 12 days, so you should be getting like around 36,000 5-star tokens, which is actually going to be quite useful for brand new players, just to get them a step up straight away. For us veterans, it's not going to make too much of a difference, and most people would either just save it for fodder or obviously convert it into one of the new trainers. And lastly, it goes on to talk about the emerald mine and the breakdown of what it requires to open it and run the stages. You do require to get an emerald key, which also costs rubies from what I remember above. The difficulty is much harder, S14 to S16, so very difficult, so that can put off a lot of players. Again, I have talked about this in the past, and this is basically the premium section of this event, and they are making it so that it only really appeals just based on the difficulty to a small amount of their player base. I never understand about, like, when it comes to the premium part of an event, making it really only good for like 5% of your community. I mean, I could probably do this, but I know a lot of people who would just avoid it purely on the difficulty, so they're definitely not going to put money into it. So I think there needs to be like a new approach maybe to how you present things that are meant to be premium and making it a bit more accessible. That way more people will potentially buy your thing. You know, we talked about that with the battle pass. This is another one. I don't see what's the point of this. Resets once per day though. Stage completion reward is 500 emeralds, and that means that you'll be able to get 1,500 emeralds from completing this. The act completion reward is 2,000 treasure tokens. It does say that stage 3 has drops. I think it mentioned above that it was emerald, so you potentially can get emerald drops on the actual last stage itself as well. So this was the treasure hunt event, and this is just a side event, not a multi-week event or anything like that, and this is going to basically be coming in as the 4th of July event ends. And overall, it doesn't seem too bad. The only problem I have with these sort of events is that you have to complete the roadmap twice, and sometimes they can obviously reset in the middle of the night and stuff like that. If you are someone on Survivors Club, you're going to have to complete all of these, and there are only 8-hour windows to actually complete them. And considering most people would sort of sleep for 8 hours, if you are in the wrong time zone and those resets at a certain time, you're going to be in trouble in terms of actually getting this event completed and still getting a decent night's sleep. There was no mention at all about what the treasure wheel has to offer either. I guess we'll have to wait and see once it is in game, but otherwise it looks like a pretty straightforward event. It does look like an improvement on the original treasure hunt, but we'll have to wait until it actually goes fully live to really get a good idea. But do tell me what you think about the treasure hunt event, the sequel. That is the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.